morning. We will start the morning call. So after a 5-day fall, the domestic market is set to open on a positive note today, tracking gains in US stocks, which rallied in overnight trade. Also, Asian markets are trading mixed today morning after the IMF downgraded its global growth forecast. Uh, IMF has downgraded the forecast for the second time this year. It now projects a global growth of 3.6% in the current calendar year, uh, a drop of 0.8% from its January forecast. This is mainly because post the January forecast, the Russia-Ukraine war has happened, which has caused huge inflation and reduced growth forecasts. IMF projects India's GDP to grow at 8.2% in FY23 from earlier projection of 9% made in January. If we look at the US 10-year bond yield, it continues to rise and it has touched a 3-year high of 2.96% just now, which is a worry, as on one hand, growth will be declining due to inflation, and on the other hand, the cost of capital keeps rising. On the rupee front, it has been sliding for 4 continuous days, and rupee has depreciated today by around 21 paise, currently at 76.5. This is because of continuous FII outflows and ongoing risk of sentiment globally. I will now hand over the call to the technical team.
Very good morning, everyone. Thanks, Jehan. Taking the cues from the global markets, we feel Nifty is expected to open on a gap up note. We have seen a huge sell-off in Nifty, particularly in the last 30 to 45 minutes in yesterday's trading session. We're expecting a slight bounce back in Nifty today. Nifty has an immediate resistance of 50 and its 200 DMA at around 17,140 to 17,170. For today, the first immediate resistance will be 17,100, followed by the resistance of its averages, which I just mentioned. And if we witness a closing above the averages, then it might move towards 17,220 to 17,300 levels. Now, moving on to Bank Nifty was consolidating from last 4 to 5 days, but in yesterday's trading session, it has witnessed selling. A small bounce back is expected here as well. Bank Nifty's immediate resistance will be around its 50 DMA, that is 36,800. And if we see a closing of that, it might move towards 37,100 to 37,400. Till the time Bank Nifty is holding yesterday's lows of 35,970, one can take a long position in that. Now, moving on to the stocks, Reliance is looking good at the current level. One can take a buy call in that with a target of 2,700 by keeping a stop loss of 2,600. Next up would be Apollo Hospital. The long-term chart is looking good in this index, and it can move towards 5,000 levels. That's all from my side. I request derivative guys to take the call forward.
Thank you, Ayush. See, on the derivative front, overall, this was the worry earlier as well. While the PCR was coming lower, VIX had increased, and from the call open interest, it was quite evident that this 17,000 would have been retested, but retested like this yesterday, no one could have really seen it coming. However, now the 17,000 has been broken below. The good signs are here. VIX hasn't really shot up that much, while PCR has gone down and it is deep in the oversold zone. So definitely a bounce back is likely in the offing. Also, the PCR above at the 17,000 strike is above 1, and that is a positive. So we can see some amount of bounce coming in for Nifty, and this bounce can extend up to 17,200 to 50 odd levels. So today is most likely going to be a buying day, so one can be buyers today with a stop loss of 16,900. If that is broken, some amount of selling can again step in, which can take Nifty towards 16,500 odd levels. So that should be your stop loss for longs. Now, looking at the stock specific front, as I said yesterday, PSU stocks continue to do well. So ONGC, Coal India, Hind Petro, BPCL, these stocks witnessed good buying and are likely to see further buying. So focus should be on PSUs at this point of time. Some short covering can come in banks. So look out for the same. Some good amount of buying can come in, and banks like HDFC Bank, which have seen sharp correction from 1700 levels, some shorts were built in. So very likely you will see this kind some bounce in HDFC Bank, even in Axis or ICICI Bank, which we witnessed some selling yesterday. That's it from my side. I'd like to ask the fundamental team to take over, please.
Yeah, good morning. ACC Limited reported below expectation set of numbers. Sales volume came at 7.7 million ton versus expectation of 7.86 million ton. Realization per ton came at 53.21 versus expectation of 55.94. EBITDA per ton came at rupees 823 versus expectation of 839. Margins were in line with expectation at 14.3%. The stock is trading at EV by EBITDA of 8.7 times FY23 earnings. Tata Steel Long Products reported declining set of numbers. Revenue came at 1800 crores versus 1677 crores quarter on quarter. EBITDA came at 164 crores versus 251 crores quarter on quarter. Stock is trading at EV by EBITDA of 3.5 times on trailing basis. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it from us. Thank you very much for attending. Have a good day.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.